Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of WesterosCraft Walks with your host, DutchGuard. Today we're going to be looking at the Waynwood lands and their castle, Ironoaks. Today we're just on the outskirts of the Waynwood lands, and this little sept. We just made a little prayer to the crone here to wish us well on our journey, so let's take a look outside and see what we can see. So if you haven't guessed already, we are in the Vale. Which is pretty obvious by these huge mountains in front of me here. The Vale, which is one of the 7 regions of Westeros under the rule of House Arryn, is typified by mountains, really huge mountains everywhere, and these big scenic long valleys throughout. So let's take a walk down. We've just come out of this beautiful little sept here with all these nice little vines with flowers on them. And the stones you can see here are gravestones, because we are in a lich yard, which is basically just George R.R. Martin's way of saying graveyard, but it has loads and loads of gravestones, and there's a bigger area down here. But first, let's take a look at this house. This must be the caretaker's house, and it is typical of the Ironoaks style, and as a result, typical of the Vale style, because we like the style so much that we just adapted it to use everywhere. You can see it's got a brick chimney with mostly stone walls, and a thatch roof. So let's take a quick look inside. I'm expecting, a bed for the caretaker and his apprentice. We've got a big hearth there, nice little kitchen area, storage area up here by the ceiling. So let's make our way down into this bigger lich yard here. We've also got some crypts under the sept, which you can explore if you /warp Ironoaks sept, or warp lich yard. So you've got all these gravestones here in a line. Looks like a pretty old graveyard here. It's in this really beautiful area of the Vale. Nice big oak tree here. And I'm going to treat you to a little view of this massive vineyard. So this is the largest vineyard of Ironoaks, which is presumably the source of a load of wine of the Vale. The Vale isn't really renowned for its winemaking abilities, but it's probably a bit cheaper than importing it from Dorne. So it's got its own little winemaking facilities. So just at the bottom of this vineyard here, we've got a nice little pool for collecting rainwater. These houses are presumably for the workers of the vineyard, and just up ahead, if you can see that big wooden building, is the residence of the winemaker, I think, and that's also where they make the wine and ferment the wine. So as I said before, this entire area is ruled by House Waynwood, so presumably they would own this vineyard and control the flow of wine through the Vale, as this is, I think, one of the more fertile areas of the Vale. So we've got a nice little firewood area out here. I think this is down to the wine cellars. You can see those big casks of wine being fermented down this way. If we head back upstairs, I'm sure we could find somewhere the wine press. Yeah, there it is. Grapes getting ready to be crushed. They're stored in these casks here. We've got wagons down that way and some stables. So our final destination today is the Ironoaks Castle, which is the seat of House Waynwood. And to get there, it's going to take a bit of a hike. We're going to follow this road here, road that's getting harder and harder to see. It seems a bit overgrown, but it's all part of the fun, trying to figure out where to go. And we're traveling through this lovely forest, the Ironoaks Forest, which isn't specifically stated in the books or on the maps, but we assumed that because the castle was called Ironoaks, there must be at least some trees in the area, so we sort of just painted this whole area with trees. And it turned out really nicely, actually. And you've got this forest at the base of this mountain here. You've got all these amazing slopes and foothills before the mountains of the Vale. So right now we're in one of the valleys, and so on all sides you'll be able to see those big mountains. So we're just heading on our way to the Ironoaks Castle. We're going to pass through one of the Ironoaks hamlets. And a hamlet is basically just a little town within the region of that castle or of that house. Because what happens is when we get a member of the community applying for a build, they not only have to apply for the castle, but also for the area surrounding it. So for any towns, farms, villages, fields, it all needs to be planned out so that we don't leave any areas untouched. Because if we leave areas untouched, then we've got big old areas that are boring to walk through, and we don't want that at any point. So I think you can see just the fans of a windmill just up there. So we're just going to be making a turn into the little Ironoaks hamlet, and we'll take a look around. Looks like a big granary here for storing the grain that was made at the mill. I've got some houses here for the villagers of this hamlet. Big wheat fields on the left, some fallow fields on the right with, I think, some carrots and turnips in that little walled field over there. And if I can make it out, some peas growing up on our right, just here on our right. I think I can see a river in the distance there. That river feeds into the fingers down that way. The fingers which then lead out to the narrow sea. The fingers are the big long peninsulas to the east of the Vale. And if you recall from the books or the TV show, that's where Littlefinger comes from. So we have this big fishing net crossing this ford here for catching fish, and this ford is basically just sort of a shallow area that was made artificially for crossing with horses or wagons or whatever can make it through that way, while still allowing some ships to pass through. Although with that fishing net in the way, they're not going to have much luck. So I've got some more houses over here. I'm still in that same style. The consistency is really important because it tells the traveler that they're still in the same area, and that they're still, on the right path. So we're going to head up downstream along this river here to our right, continuing through the Ironoaks forest. And we'll eventually get to the Castle of Ironoaks, which is typical of the Vale style. I think Ironoaks, because it was one of the newer builds when this new section of the Vale came out, since it was one of the first, people just sort of liked it and went with it. So you can see a lot of builds that are very similar in the style of Ironoaks if you happen to like that style. And I recommend you visit places like Rothermont and Runestone, Longbow Hall. There's loads and loads of different places to explore. We're working on the Eyrie now. It's taking a while because the terraforming for that build is super hard. Terraforming, of course, which is just making the mountains and rivers and forests and everything. Basically everything except for the build itself. So that's taking a while. Big work in progress, but hopefully we'll get there by the end of the summer of 2014. Just in case you're watching this video a year in the future. So hopefully by the time you watch this video, the Eyrie is complete already. You can just /warp Eyrie and take a look. But that's bound to be one of our best builds, just because it is so unique, it's so cool. But I thought to show off some of the lesser known builds, so that's why we're here at Ironoaks. And since it's already done, we've already got a whole area to explore. We must be coming up to it now. We've been walking a ways. We really, on some of these walks, I've tried to keep it short and try to keep interesting things along the way, but we do want to have lots of wilderness as well, so that when we get to the role-playing aspect of the server, you have lots of areas to hunt and to harvest, as well as areas where you can get raided by bandits or be arrested by the king's militia or, whatever we come up with. So we still need lots of areas where you can just go out and explore. So that would be an area like this when you're traveling along this road to Ironoaks. And this road ought to lead it leads to the castle, but then I think it continues further west to Heartsholme, which is further west in the Vale. I think I see it there. Let it load in. There it is. Beautiful. So that is the seat of House Waynwood, Castle Ironoaks. It's got these beautiful white walls with wooden accents, and I don't know if you can make out the color, but that's red dub and wattle there. So we're just crossing that little river. So the whole castle is situated in the river. It's just widened out from where we crossed it earlier into this lake. So here we are, crossing the drawbridge. We're just going to go through this little port here. If I can get it to work. So here we are in the courtyard. The white contrasts so nicely with all this greenery around here. We've got this wishing well here. You can see some coins down at the bottom there. Some stables to the right. Some guest houses on the left. And then in here, I'm going to show you something real quick. They've got this really cool docking area because there's this water gate and that leads in from the river. So you can take your ship through this way and safely, within the safety of the walls, deliver your goods. Really, really cool feature of this build. So in here we've got a Godswood, we've got a Sept, we've got everything. Won't be able to show you everything because it is a huge build, but we're going to try to get to the best bits and end up with a scenic overlook. This is the banquet hall of Ironoaks. We've got big, long stained glass windows there. We've got the seat for the Lord. We've got it's really beautiful arched vaulted ceilings. We're just gonna head next door to the kitchen. Got a nice hog roast here. Got some bread baking in the oven there. Oh my god, I'm so hungry. It's nearly dinner time for me. Once I finish this, I'm definitely gonna chow down. I'm gonna head up this tower here, see what we can see. We've got a nice little eating area here. Some stairs going that way, I think. So what is this way? Oh no, this leads out onto the walls. So this is the other side of the castle here, looking out into the lake. And this is down into that dock we were just looking at. So let's continue upwards into this castle, and I'm gonna try and find the Maester's quarters again. I'm not gonna lie, I do love a good Maester's quarters, and they're really fun to show off because they're a really unique style of furnishing, and people generally do a pretty good job with them because they are an important part of the build. Let's take a look in here. I got a big map of Westeros there, and Essos. Looks like a war planning room, perhaps. Got a big table here, which I'm just standing on. So yeah, we got a war room. We don't want to go down. We don't want to go that way. Let's head up these stairs here. Yes. Yep, this looks like part of the Maester's chambers. We've got big bookshelves here, some dusty bookshelves, big table. Beautiful looking building. This looks like at the top of a roof as well. This looks like an ideal place for some experimentation. And the skull there, maybe an experiment gone wrong. So we've got some stairs here. So these stairs are really cool. They're enclosed by our half iron door textures, which we can use for pretty much just any kind of wall that you want or a separator. Really nifty feature of our resource pack. Well, this looks like the Maester's sleeping quarters here. A nice big wide bed. Favorite bird, Dane's the dove. Nice big hearth. Little washing up area. Really cool. And I'm assuming that above this is the rookery. Do love a good rookery. Oh, nice. This is a big one. So you can see all those little holes in the wall there. Those are the little hatches for the ravens. Very cool. They've got loads. They're well stocked on ravens. Some cages here. Got a writing desk. Let's head up and see if we can get a view. This is where the ravens must be released. Here we go. Look at that. So you can see how the river goes around the castle, flows that way to the east towards the narrow sea, and just over there you can see the town of Ironoaks. And then below there we've got that nice little docking area there. So this is it. This is where I'm going to end the video, in this nice little overlook. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want to check out Ironoaks in game, just log on and do /warp Ironoaks. It is a beautiful build. All credit goes to SMP for leading and planning this build. And I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Hopefully I'll get another one out by the end of the week. And if you liked the video, give it a like, give it a comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you for the next time.